Hi, this is Jill from Young at Heart Designs, and welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be creating a fall pumpkin made from Dollar Tree cut glass looking punch bowls. And I've used these before to create Christmas baubles, but this will be my first time making a pumpkin. And it's just the same except for one little difference, and you'll see that as we go. So here we go. The first thing I'm going to do is use my hot tool to help remove those stickers. This is an easy way. They just peel right off with that hot tool. Some people like to put them together prior to painting, but I feel like it's easier to control the bowl as I'm painting while they're separate. So I paint first. Here I'm using the Deco Art Americana Spice Pumpkin to give me my base coat. Now I am not one to be a planner so much as I'm crafting, and sometimes I have an idea of where I want to go, but things change as I'm working on it. And I'm just flexible that way. And so this gives it a good base coat. And I did not put anything on there prior, and the paint really does adhere pretty well. So now you definitely would want more than one coat to make sure that you're covered. This is another way to do it really quickly is to use spray paint. For my Christmas baubles that I made, I made so many that I ended up using spray paint, and that covers really well, sticks really well, and is a little quicker. But here I did not have any orange spray paint, so I used what I have. So you're going to let that dry, and then I accidentally missed recording, but as you can see, that little finial right there, I showed you the package. It's from a company called Woodpeckers. I ordered off of Amazon, but I think you can order directly from the company, and that's going to be the stem. Now, I used a product to stain it, but then I decided later I wanted to make it green. Now here I've decided I am going to change the color a little bit. I wanted a more iridescent look to the pumpkin, and so I will have to look again. It's a copper type. There's two different coppers that I'm using, and I will have to list those because I failed to get the names for you here. But I'm kind of wanting a mottled look, and so I'm taking the two colors, not really mixing them, but just dabbing on with a sponge, like a makeup sponge, and just getting the colors just a little bit mottled. I think that's the word. And just giving it more of an iridescent look than just that bright orange. Now, you could definitely do the bright orange, but this is just something I wanted to do. You just want to make sure that it's really covered well. There's no see-through spots. And using that makeup sponge is a really helpful tool because it adheres really well to the bowl. Of course, you're going to be doing both bowls. Let that dry really well. Now I'm going to cover it after I get it painted like I want with a product called by Paint Couture called Extreme Guard Satin. And this is just going to protect your paint and make it a little bit more durable. And I have a large container of the Extreme Guard, so I had poured it into another smaller container. But it's a great product for, it's UV resistant. It's just a really good sealer. And it dries pretty quick. I love the Paint Couture products. So I'm going to let that dry really well, and then I decided I might want to try and see if I could get more of an antique look using Paint Couture's glaze. This one is, I can't remember what the name of this one is. It may be like a burnt umber. No, I'm so sorry. It's Van Dyke Brown, and I thought maybe it would get down into the grooves and kind of show off that cut glass look a little bit more. I'm just using a baby wipe there to kind of wipe back a little bit of it. I don't know that it made that big of a difference, but that's what I did. Usually when you have a mold or some kind of raised and lowered area, that glaze will kind of get down into the crevices and kind of show off more of the design. And that was kind of my intention here, although I really don't know that it made that much of a difference. But I tried. Now, when I've made these before for the Christmas, I've taken a dry brush and I've gone over them with maybe a white and and that really does make those designs stand out, because you're just dry brushing the high areas. And but with the pumpkin, I didn't do that. For the Christmas ones, it looks a little bit like snow dusting. And now what I decided to do here is take that finial that I had already stained with the Van Dyke glaze, and I decided I wanted it to be more of a green. And I love this color from Paint Couture, and it's a moss color, vintage moss, I think is the name of it. And I'm going to show you how I made the stem. So I have this tool that I used, and it's a hot tool. I don't even know the name of it. I got it a long time ago, but when you want to make a hole in a piece of plastic, it's your tool. I just kind of burned a hole inside there, and it doesn't take much at all to, you just kind of have to know how big you want. So I just did a little at a time, and because there's a little edge there to the finial, and it was going to sit inside that little space. So I decided I'd finally just go kind of round and round, and that's how I made the hole a little bit bigger each time. So now it's finally sitting in there, and I used the E6000 to on the edge of the bowl, one bowl, not both bowls, but I also used a little bit of it to keep the finial inside and not come out of the pumpkin. So that's how I connect my bowls. Now with these, the cut glass looking ones, there's a little bit of a fluted edge, and you just want to make sure that those are matching up when you put one on top of the other so that they match. And this I leave to dry overnight because I want to make sure that it's good and dry before I start doing any more decorating. You just need to make sure that your bowls are lined up all the way around. So I inspect that. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. You have to work at it a little bit more. All right, so now all is dry, and I just went to Walmart and grabbed some fall foliage and cut some pieces up, and now we're going to do the fun part of decorating the pumpkin top. So this is lamb's ear, and I wanted it to stick up a little bit more. I cut apart my plants often when I'm doing this kind of thing. Get more bang for your buck. These ended up being a little bit bigger than I expected, but you know, I just played around with it and used some hot glue to glue that down. These finials that I used for the pumpkin top, I used a 3.5 inch. I really wish I'd had a 4.5 inch, because once you put the flowers on there, it kind of gets lost, and it's so pretty. I just really wish it could show a little bit more, but live and learn. So I took some, here I had made a rag ribbon, and just put some different pieces of fabric, ripped them, created a little bow and glued a pine cone to the front, and went ahead. I'm sorry I didn't record the making of the bow, but you could use any type of bow really. And I decided it needed a little bit more in the back, so I took another type of flower and wanted to bring out some of that cream color that's on the ribbon, and push those leaves up and filled in just that kind of bare spot there in the back. And I end up adding one more toward the front, and you know, you can do whatever you want as far as your heart's desire. You could just put as little floral and ribbons as much. And I went back and I trimmed up my ribbons, the ones that were a little too long, and you know, just worked on that until it made me happy. But here again, it's just a fun project. It doesn't cost a whole lot of money to create these, and people love them. I made a bunch of Christmas ones last year, and I sold probably almost 20 of them. People just love these, and it's just a fun way to create some fall decor at little expense. I hope you enjoyed this, and thank you so much for joining me. Let me know if you've ever tried making these before in the comments. I would appreciate it if you could subscribe, and I'll do my best to make more content for you. Have a great day, be blessed, and know that God loves you.